from what's happening?
You know, I don't think it really has. It certainly became a little sideshow for a while. But, you know, even in the 20s when Babe Ruth started all of his home run feats, there was grumbling that the dead ball had been switched by a livelier ball, that before the 20s they never changed the ball, so that meant the players could have spit on it or deface it, and then suddenly they changed the ball more in the 20s, and that allowed him to hit the home runs. It still didn't take away from the fact that he hit that home run. It is so hard, as Ken said, to hit it, that I think people know that. But what's happening is that it's become a common conversation. I mean, you go into a bar, and people who aren't even baseball fans, as you were saying earlier, are following it, and we all need something to cut across racial, class, and economic lines. Sports usually does that, but in these last few years, when it's talk about salaries, it cuts you even further away from them. Now we feel at one with this, and the great thing about this kind of home run chase is that it's not only what's happening now, but it's a record that stood so long in history, and baseball's always been, each game is a link in a chain, because you keep statistics from the moment you become a baseball fan. I learned how to keep score when I was 6 years old. That little box score is a miniature statistics, just like this huge statistic of when was the last 60 or 61 game hit of home runs is a big statistic.
Ken, you look like you're about to say something.
Well, no, I've enjoyed the way it has wiped everything off. I love that. I agree with Doris. 300 hitter now is the same for my father, same for my grandfather, same for my great-grandfather. And there are very few things in our lives that offer that kind of continuity. It's the cliche of baseball, and we live in a world in which we say, yes, but, all the time. Even the distraction with McGuire last week about the supplement that he's taken. The great thing about this record is that it is strong enough. The ball arcs far enough to eliminate all the yes buts. There is no arguing a home run, and that's what I like. It really stops us all in our track, and as that ball follows its trajectory, we all stop. And as Doris says, we are all one for a second, and those people who have said baseball's no longer our national pastime have to stop and realize the way in which we have all paused in this and forgotten our troubles as the stock market crashes and Russia collapses and the president has his troubles, to look and take the simple pleasure in someone hitting this piece of cowhide with a piece of ash. I mean, that's great news.
Let me ask you, this is really for both of you, and Ken, you start. Doris made mention of that this is certainly something that everybody is watching. Now, I understand why baseball fans are all excited, but non-fans don't pay any attention to baseball whatsoever. In fact, a lot of them don't even know the rules. But suddenly they are turning on the television screen. Now, what is it that is luring them in?
Well, I've got the grand and glorious cliched things about this being the mirror of America. You know, I always thought it was like the canary that miners used to take down into the mines, that if the canary was healthy, you knew the mine was safe. If baseball is healthy, then nothing can really permeate the republic. And I think that's it. People pick up on that energy. And the people who aren't baseball fans for most of the season, that don't appreciate it as Doris and I do, the breathing in and out of the game, suddenly come alive, and you walk into a little cafe in southwestern Colorado and they say, did he hit it out today? You know, what did Sammy do? It's great.
I wish it were as simple as that. My worry is that the media has a capacity to saturate the country now with almost anything, and that it's great that it's something like Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa today, but a year ago it was Princess Diana, a few years ago it was O.J. Simpson. There's something about the interconnectedness now of newspapers, magazines, 24 hours a day television that can give us a conversation. It's so great that it's about something positive, but it wouldn't have been quite the same way 50 years ago without the saturation that's possible today. It's a fragmented society. People are pretty passive, so they do get their conversation from whatever the media tells us is the common conversation.
Just 15
That's
seconds,
exactly
Ken.
right.
15 seconds.
That's exactly right. We've forgotten the mystery of it, that it used to be that you'd have to open the paper and see the box scores, but there's something nice about sharing this good news with everybody. I haven't been happier this summer than this week, and they're going to do it before 154 games, so there are no asterisks.
No asterisks.
That's my slogan this week, no asterisks.
Ken Burns and Doris Kearns Goodwin, I thank you both for a very good conversation. Of course, we'll all be watching the games together.
You're welcome.
I'll be back in just a moment. One program note, ABC News will be following the home run race all weekend, including a special Chasing History planned for Sunday night at 9, 8 Central. But that's our report for tonight. I'm Forrest, Sawyer in Washington. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
presents This Week in Baseball.